My name is not important, nor is my birth date or address. What is important to know is that I was once an ordinary being, just like you. The daily exposure to the horror and indecencies performed by society and the human race as a whole can change a man. It changed me. The intrusive rise of world war, poverty, murder, crime, and economic devastation have all somehow twisted the human condition beyond recognition, beyond repair. Now, I call this place home, safe within the confinement of these four walls, to share with you another twisted tale of an otherwise ordinary mind. Julia, my sweet, will you please promise me something? Roman paused for a moment. You have been my beloved wife and companion for almost 50 years. We have experienced the good times together as well as the bad ones. My life has been so much richer for knowing you. The best part of every day is knowing that I will be waking up next to you. So I am asking you to be strong with me, and together we will survive this ordeal. I'm just becoming a little forgetful, Julia. But, my darling, there is only one thing that scares the hell out of me. That I may someday forget my wonderful life with you. Roman spoke with tears in his eyes. If I should ever forget you, my sweet. Roman took his beautiful wife into his arms and whispered into her ear, then I want you to kill me. Ma'am, you dropped your napkin. I leaned over to pick up the white cloth linen from underneath the table next to mine. Kevin Stanton and I were seated in the rear of the hottest restaurant on the mountain near the stone fireplace. The handcrafted mantle that had been decorated for the holiday season with fresh spruce branches and scented pine cones covered the entire back wall. The kindling fire that was brightly burning gave off a much-needed warm feeling on this cold December evening. We had been seated next to an elderly couple who appeared to be celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. It seemed rather ironic to me that Kevin and I were on our first official date. Sable, would you like some wine? Asked Kevin. We both worked together at Big Boulder Mountain, the Poconos' premier ski resort. Kevin worked as a ski lift operator, and he didn't make a lot of extra money for frugalities like dinners and dating. Perhaps that's what made this evening so special. I couldn't keep myself from staring into his deep blue eyes. I think that I am going to try the salmon pesto with lobster risotto, so maybe a glass of Chablis would be a nice compliment. I could feel the smile widen across my face. I would like 2 glasses of your most popular Chablis, please, Kevin asked. The waiter acknowledged his request with a courteous, "Very good, sir," and continued to take the rest of our order before turning to the table next to us. I am really glad that you decided to finally have dinner with me. I know this is a busy time of year, both at work and with the holidays. I was hoping that my persistence would eventually pay off, laughed Kevin. He reached into the pocket of his black sports coat and produced a red velvet box that had been poorly wrapped with a frilly gold ribbon. I got you a little something for Christmas, he smiled and placed the box in front of me. His face had turned a mild shade of red that matched the mistletoe swinging above the table. Kevin was blushing, and I couldn't help but feel a little overwhelmed myself. You don't belong here. I can see you hiding there. I can see you, and I want you to leave. You don't belong here. The man seated next to us had started to scream spontaneously. He stood up from his table. The high-backed chair toppled over and crashed against the dessert tray. The elderly man was insanely waving his arms toward the other patrons in the restaurant. Amidst all of the unpremeditated commotion, a glass pitcher full of iced tea was accidentally knocked off the table. Roman slipped on the tiled floor. Roman, stop this. It's Julia, honey. Please, calm down, she cried. Julia leaned across the table and tried to restrain her husband. Julia's actions only seemed to agitate the uneasy man. Without any warning, the situation escalated. Roman lifted himself off of the floor, threw off his Pierre Cardin dress coat, ripped his shirt buttons, and began to unbuckle his belt. The frightened, unstable man started to panic and holler obscenities loud enough to disrupt everyone from eating their dinners and turning their attention to the rear of the restaurant. Get them off of me! Get them off of me! Roman began to sob uncontrollably while slapping himself free of the invisible assailants. Another young man approached from behind the swinging kitchen doors and tried to assist in controlling Julia's husband. Julia reached into her purse and pulled out a green tin pillbox. She pushed her way through the gathering crowd. Please allow me to get to my husband. I have to give him his medication. Roman swallowed the pill and was seated at the celebrating couple's table. One of the staff members recovered the dress coat from the floor and put it on her husband. Instantly, his temper began to subside, almost to a point of non-existence. Julia took in a deep breath, apologized to the staff, and returned to her seat. She looked at her waiter with a tear in her eye and asked, "Please bring us 2 cups of decaffeinated coffee." I looked at Kevin to see if he was watching any of the events that were unfolding right next to us. He wasn't. Instead, his bright blue eyes were focused only on me. "Are you going to open it?" Kevin asked. He looked down at the velvet box. I had almost forgotten about his special gift. "Oh my goodness, Kevin, I am so sorry. Blame it on my short attention span or my chronic ADD, I guess." I untied the decorated box and lifted the lid. Inside was a beautiful silver hair clip that had a diamond heart on one side and an engraving on the other. It simply read, "Merry Christmas, Sable, from Kevin, 2011. "It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to put it in my hair right now. It will complement my diamond earrings." I reached behind my head, bundled my hair, and twisted it together with my new accessory. "It looks great on you," Kevin said with a wink of his eye. The waiter had returned with 2 cups of coffee. He placed them on the table next to ours, along with a monkey dish of sugar cubes and a cream dispenser. "Here's to what I hope is just the beginning of many more nights just like this one." Kevin lifted his glass of Chablis while making his toast. I returned his flirtatious wink. I don't know if it was the wine or maybe the mistletoe, but I leaned across the table for my first kiss with Mr. Kevin Stanton. It must have been at that moment that the woman next to us reopened her little green tin. So, like a tragic play in the tradition of the great William Shakespeare, Julia swallowed the same pill that she had given her husband only moments earlier. Then she took a swig of her coffee. Julia turned and took the napkin from Sable's hand before thanking her. She placed the crumpled linen over her knee. Julia's head began to feel foggy and her body became heated. The grandfather clock in the restaurant chimed midnight, thereby signaling the 50th year of marriage to her ailing husband. Julia happily faded away with one final thought before she died. It was the conversation that she had with her beloved Roman less than a year ago, when he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease.